I'm a little bit nervous to talk about this because I know it'll offend certain people back at home, but also people abroad, because I know people have very, very different stances on this issue. But for me personally, when we got serious, I was also thinking about a legitimate future as a family one day. One part that is happening in Denmark and has been an issue for a while now is that drugs are very prevalent. And for me personally, it's very hard to watch. It has been very uncomfortable being young, because at parties there will be these substances out and about, and you can't really avoid being in close contact with people taking drugs.
Yeah. I don't think people in China understand what you're saying. Because, you know, it's not like, oh, I don't want to do it, so I don't do it.
No.
Sometimes, like, you don't do it, you don't have friends.
Yeah. I would say I have lost a very, very, very decent portion of friends because I didn't want this in my life. Disclosure, my mom works with addicts, primarily people with alcohol addictions, but also people who have drug addictions. So drugs is obviously more serious than that. I hope we can acknowledge that it is. And yeah, seeing it be a growing issue and seeing that it's very socially accepted. I just don't personally want my kids in the future to have to make those decisions, because it really, really sucked having to give up friends and give up much of my social life actually to avoid this area. Like, even if I told people, hey, I don't do these things, I don't want to be close to it, can we please stay away from it? Suddenly, and this is not an over exaggeration, suddenly they're sniffing a line, and now you have to deal with someone who's high and drunk. And mentally it's just not healthy for me. I don't want to be close to it, and it's illegal. So I know that a lot of Western people will see me as a snob for saying this. I just don't need this in my life.
Yeah. I'm gonna be very Chinese about it. I can't accept it. Yeah. I can't accept my kids growing up in an environment like that. I don't want to live in an environment like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be quite frank, if we had moved to Denmark, we would probably have moved to Copenhagen at least eventually. Copenhagen has this way more than where I'm from. Or at least it's more present in the open. When I was in the 9th grade, me and my mom arrived in Copenhagen, there was needles from drug addicts just laying on the ground. If you have kids, I cannot imagine how scary that is. I'm just saying, it would just be another stressor, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. That's my personal stance. I don't think people who have drug issues are bad by any means. Actually, quite the opposite. I just don't need that as a part of my life personally. That's my personal decision on it. I mean, I very, very much hope that Denmark's politicians eventually decide to do something more dramatic about it. But right now, that's not what it's looking like, and there's not a huge public favor for it. The public does not agree with my stance, which is fine. Again, I chose to move, so they can do whatever they want. But yeah, it does make me sad. Yeah.